Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson. It's tea time, and this is unedited and unscripted. We're on the real always. Today's episode is going to be about anxiety. This is something that I think we all kind of have, and is something that's coming up a lot right now for me. I think also globally, right? Like, how are things going for you? Are you feeling more anxious right now? I definitely am, and it's been kind of coming up a lot recently, so I thought it might be good to talk about this, especially from reading some of the comments y'all have written about some of the things you're going through. I think, Jordan, you brought up some anxiety that you're dealing with, and my sister recently has been talking about it, so I thought this would be great to talk about. So where do I even begin? Anxiety has been with me since I can remember. I think it really came into its own being once I was maybe 8 or 9. I went to the doctor because I was losing hair here, and I still have a bald spot. I don't know if you can see it because my hair is longer now, but I lost hair and I started getting rashes, and this was all manifestations of my anxiety, which are probably the divorce and the moving of country was probably something to do with it. You know, adjusting to a new environment, those can all be stressors. I'm not sure if you've had like some high stress experiences before, but has that affected you? If it has, in a way where you've had like physical health issues? I think the worst was when I when I was 17 or 18, I got shingles because I was so anxious, because I was living in another foreign country. I was living in England temporarily for a few months and having to support myself. So, you know, I got shingles. And then like when you're, when you're trans, it's sort of like, okay, now everything's a little bit more anxious because the world is not as friendly to non-cis people as it is to cis people. It's just not designed for trans people, just like the world is sort of not designed for disabled people. When I broke my arm and I only had one hand to use, you can't open doors, you can't use the tap, you can't use the dryer, like there's just so many things you can't use all of a sudden because the world has not been designed for you. Has that happened to you? So as far as like coping and moving through anxiety, I think like there's a desire for us to get rid of it, right? Like you would like to get rid of your anxiety if you could. But can you? And have you tried? Because I've tried many times throughout my entire life and it doesn't go away. It just finds its own way to another thing for creating more anxiety. And yeah, it's almost like an addictive pattern. I don't know if you've noticed this, but for me, when I'm fine, my mind will drift to find something to be anxious about and then pull that thing down and then hold on to it. And then my body reacts, and then I'm kind of stuck in this cycle of being anxious about something like, oh, my job or what I said about something. Everything's fine, but something's not fine, you know? So trying to eliminate anxiety isn't a thing. I don't think that's really a possibility. The best thing to do, I think, is to really find a practice that works for you, where you can climb into your own mind and say, hey, hold on, everything's okay, and we're gonna get through this, we're gonna be fine. Just take a second to breathe, right? Like, wouldn't that be nice if you could just do that for yourself? And yeah, we know these things. Like we know we could do these things, but we don't because we're caught up in our own process, right? Do you do these things for yourself? How often do you do? And if you do, please let me know in the comments. And if you have some really good suggestions, please let me know because I love them for me personally, as well as some of the other people that read the comments. So we don't really jump into our own mind to really be able to calm ourselves and take care of ourselves. And so these things can build up, especially on testosterone. When I had testosterone previously, I wasn't emotionally aware of what was going on in my own body. And so something like a stressor would come up and I would just hold it at arm's reach to just kind of push it away and just kind of keep it at a distance. You know, suppression or just like avoidance behaviors. This is what they call it in therapy, avoidance. And that's fine because you know, you can hold yourself together, but it takes energy. Like hold your arm up, like hold your arm up. Okay, like can you hold this arm up for 24 hours? I don't think so, right? And so this takes energy. And rather than trying to hold some of these anxieties back, it's good to kind of allow them to be acknowledged and say, oh, hey, I notice you, anxiety. How are you doing? Okay, cool, you're there. And maybe you'll always be there. I don't need to get frustrated with you that you're there, because that's more this, right? Trying to push it away. So you just say, hey, you're there. I acknowledge you. And yeah, we're gonna be fine. You can chill there. Everything's good. I found that approach, which is a more non-violent approach, to be less taxing of my energy and to just not be wrapped up in this anxiety of it, the conflict of it. Oh my God, that anxiety is there. Kind of makes it harder to deal with it because now you have anxiety about your anxiety. It's like that meta level, right? Like when I used to get on planes, I'd be afraid of being afraid when I'm on the plane. And that would make me afraid. So allowing ourselves to practice and move through this, to acknowledge that it's really a skill that we can develop to work with our anxiety. That's something that has really helped me. I don't know what's helped you. Like, how have you worked through your anxiety? I know some of you have mentioned the anxiety that you have, so hopefully maybe something like that helps. Another thing which I recently just learned is doing things poorly on purpose. Now, I can relate to this because what it basically is instead of waiting for the perfect moment or trying to do things well, because we get anxiety around wanting to do things better, we can just do the thing and do it poorly. Say, you know what? This is what I should have said to myself 5 years ago. I'm gonna make a YouTube video and I'm just gonna do terrible at it, and that's fine. And had I have done that, I would have been starting these episodes a much longer time ago, probably like 10 years ago. Whenever YouTube opened up, I was still making videos. I had too much anxiety to share it. Yeah, that's a fun fact. So eventually what I got around to in making these videos was I was like, I just can't wait any longer. I just need to do this. It's not gonna be good. It's just gonna be whatever it is, and we're just gonna go with it. Same thing for this Tea Time series. I just said, I'm just gonna do it. I need to start. I need to do this daily. And I don't even know if I'm good at it, but y'all are showing up and I really appreciate that. And so I just kept going, and so here we are. Yeah, so that's another way. And then is there one last thing? Let's do one last thing because that 3 is a nice number. Visualizing the anxiety, giving it a name so you can label it. When the anxiety comes up, if you can start to identify it and start to identify the patterns around it, you can really start to work with it more. I call mine Grumpy McGrumpersome. That's the grumpy anxiety in me, the one that shows up when I wake up in the morning. It's like, oh, I have to do life and I have to do this and I don't want to do this, and that creates anxiety. So just go, oh, okay, like Grumpy McGrumperson, hi. Hi, I hear you. It's okay, I love you, and we're still gonna move through this. Giving it some kind of manifestation can help you move around it rather than to feel like it's a conflict inside yourself. Because we are not our thoughts, we are not our minds. This is something that we intuitively know, though it's sometimes hard to separate yourself. But ask any expert with like consciousness and self-awareness, like the people that meditate, the monks. I meditate too, but right now I'm a little inconsistent. But like this like self-awareness is a really great way of detaching yourself from your own ego. So that's it. I have a date now. That's why I look like this. What do you think of my hair, by the way? I haven't done it in a ponytail and I honestly can't see it from behind. So you're gonna have to tell me what it looks like, or I'm gonna have to review this video later because I can only do this. But I hope I look good for my date, and he seems like he's gonna be sweet. So we'll see. I'll let you know in tomorrow's tea time. It's really nice to see you today, and I hope you have a wonderful, amazing, splendid, beautiful, gorgeous day. How's that? All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.